Hey guys, let's discuss today's set of questions. Today's first question is the one that we mentioned in the previous session that we would discuss. Well, this is on open market operations. So we're going to look at money supply. We're going to look at interest rates and of course inflation. So as you know that the RBI's open market operation transactions are carried out with a view to regulate inflation. Now inflation to a large extent is a function of money supply. Okay. So how does this entire thing work? So we will look at first OMO, then we'll look at inflation, the definitions I'm talking about. Then we'll go on to discuss all these put together, how they impact the common man. Okay, so let's start with OMO, open market operations. Open market operations. I'll go a bit slow here. Underline this. First one, purchase and sale of. So what is OMO? Purchase and sale of government securities. Government securities. In short called GSEC, okay, government securities by the RBI on behalf of the government of India. Next, aim is to regulate. The aim is to regulate means control money supply, inflation and interest rates okay. Next, so how does this work in real life? How does money supply go up and down and consequently interest rates? So let's write. To absorb excess money supply in brackets liquidity. This is the term that economists often use to refer to money supply, especially excess one. To absorb excess money supply in brackets liquidity, the RBI sells government securities via auctions, Nilami. Auctions. Full stop. Such a sale would suck in. There is a certain word, okay? Yeah. Suck in. Excess money supply. From the economy. Full stop. Next point. To increase money supply, let's look at the opposite side. To increase money supply, the RBI buys government securities during recessionary times, full stop. By buying the government securities, next point, by buying the government securities, the RBI pumps in These are terms that I have used. You see all of them. Pumps in money into the market, or into the economy. Full stop. The last point, the RBI conducts open market operations through commercial banks and other eligible participants on the RBI's on its core banking solution platform, it's called CBS in short, named e-Kuber, electronic Kuber, e-Kuber. Okay. Leave one line space, write inflation, subheading inflation. Underline that, first point. Rise in general price level, RISE, rise in general price level due to higher demand and lower supply. Due to higher demand and lower supply. Due to higher demand and lower supply. Full stop. Second point. Inflation reduces the purchasing value of money. Purchasing value of money. It reduces the purchasing value of money. Full stop. Okay. Let's look at some simple terms now. Okay. See, recession is when you have a downturn in economic activity. People don't want to spend money. People don't have money because there is a large scale unemployment. Large scale unemployment would mean that people don't have incomes. When people don't have incomes, they don't have purchasing power. And when they don't have purchasing power, their demand for goods and services is low, isn't it? As it is low, producers, let's say you're a producer and I'm a common person, okay? You know, if there is not enough money with me to buy stuff which you produce, would you be incentivized to produce? No. So what we do, you would decrease your production. When you decrease production, you know, you don't have many people on your rolls, you don't employ many people. So to, when you decrease production, what happens is, one, you don't employ people, so you add to unemployment, I mean, in another sense, okay? Two, the fact that you don't produce also means that the demand for the goods that you use as raw materials in your product also decreases. Okay, now this has another effect. Those who supply raw material, they don't find much demand for the product, so they do not employ many people. You got it? So there is unemployment on this side, there is unemployment on that side. This is what, and this becomes cyclical. One thing feeds off the other. Okay, so in these times when the RBI says unless people spend, there is no way there is no way the economy would do well. So what the RBI does is this: the RBI buys garments, it buys government securities. When it buys government securities, what is happening? Government securities are brought into the RBI. Money goes out from the RBI. When the money goes out, money supply increases. When money supply increases, interest rates decrease. When interest rates decrease, you and I will be incentivized to borrow money and spend. Let's say home loan rates are low, okay, and or let's say consumer durables loan rates are low. So what do? I borrow money to buy stuff and to produce to cater to the demand that I generate. What would you do? You would produce. To produce, you would employ people, you would buy raw materials, so it has a positive effect. To repeat, I made it very simple. It is simple, but it is not so simple. Of course, it's economics, and economics is rarely that simple. Okay? To increase purchasing power of people, to make sure the economy does well, the RBI usually, to spur production, to spur economic consumption, the RBI reduces interest rates by increasing money supply. This increase in money supply, it does by buying government securities. You are government securities, the RBI buys from you, okay? It buys from the market. When it buys government securities, it puts money. So when it puts money into the market. When you buy something, let's say I buy something from you, what am I doing? I'm putting money in your hands. Similarly, the RBI buys government securities, putting money into the market. Market means banks here. Banks have excess money. So what do banks do with the money? They try to lend and to attract the customer, because all banks have similar business model, that is to generate profit. And how do they generate profit? By keeping their costs low on deposits and salaries and everything, and generate more through interest on loans and other stuff. What is the best way to attract customer? Offer lower interest rates. And all banks do this. Almost all banks. It's a competitive world. So money supply goes up. When money supply goes up, consumers are incentivized to borrow. As they borrow, they create demand for goods and services. Take a bike. What goes into a bike? Steel, iron, cables, all kinds of stuff goes into metals, aluminum and everything. Not just steel, aluminum, every kind of thing. Plastics go in, leather goes in, or let's say resin, some kind of leatherette goes in. Yeah, you have pipes, electric cabling, you have lights. So a company, a Hero company, a TVS company. I'm just giving the example. These kinds of companies buy a lot of stuff from a lot of companies, others, to assemble the product, and to create that, that entire scenario, it all starts with governments pumping money into the market. Now, the problem with pumping money is that it could lead to inflation. How? More excess money supply would mean that people have more money with them. When people have more money with them, their purchasing power increases. See this. Let me just clear this. When they have higher money supply, okay, higher money supply would mean higher incomes. It's income of all kind. Purchasing power increases. When purchasing power increases, people's demand for goods and services also increases. But demand may not be equal to supply. Okay, demand may not be equal to supply. So consequently, what will happen to the prices? Prices would increase. As prices increase, you have inflation. And price is not just one commodity, across the board, lots of commodities. That is what inflation. And is inflation good? Well, not so really, because inflation reduces the purchasing value of your paisa. Your paisa in your pocket. As prices increase, the purchasing value of your paisa in the pocket decreases. Earlier, let's say, apple, 50 rupees a kilo. 50 rupees a kilo. With 100 rupees, you could buy 2 kg. 2 kg for 100 rupees. Now, it's gone up to 75 rupees. So you buy less. You buy 1.5 kilo. Yeah. So the idea is you buy less than 1.5 kilo. So the idea is not just that there is purchasing increasing purchasing power. This happens with all people. So the money supply is higher. People don't sit idle. They try to demand goods and services, but supply doesn't match in the short run. So rise in price happens, and that is how inflation happens. So recently, the RBI, in its previous monetary policy statement, had one person, Professor Jayant Verma, I think, he disagreed with the accommodative stance of the RBI. He said that inflation is now striking the common people. But the RBI's the panel's MPC's other members, they said that growth is important now. Inflation is important, but growth is much more important. So they said that we will keep the interest rates low. And how do you keep interest rates low? By pumping in money. You got it? Money supply increases. Yeah, interest rates are low. But when interest rates are low, inflation rises. We saw this. This is what Professor Verma had talked about. But other than that, the other members of the MPC, Monetary Policy Statement, MPC, Monetary Policy Committee, they said that we need to maintain an accommodative stance, which means growth would be preferred over inflation for now, because the economy is recovering from COVID, COVID-inflicted, shutdowns, downturns, massive downturn in economic activity and all. So by keeping interest rates low, they are pushing people to borrow more, to spend more, to create demand for goods and services, which in turn would generate employment, which in turn would generate income, which in turn would generate demand for goods and services, and of course that in turn in the end would spur economic activity. That's the idea. Okay. And inflation is not a good idea, trust me. Inflation, anything below 5% is good, up to 5% for a country like ours is good, but beyond that it's not a good idea. Because, the higher inflation, the more its capacity to reduce the purchasing power of our paisa. Let's say 100 rupees is what you had last year. You bought, you bought something like, okay, I just gave this example. Let me take this example. Now you say that the increase has been almost 50%, has been increased 50%, from 50 it has gone up to 75 rupees, which means that the purchasing value of your money has decreased by 50%. That's what it is. A rise in price would mean decrease in the purchasing value. Now somewhere, some of us may not be comfortable, some of us, I said, and somewhere only. Some of us may not be comfortable with the newspaper numbers like 5%, 6%, inflation rate is 6%. What is 6% here? See, 6% is the inflation rate today. Now, how do they calculate is not important for our level, but I'll tell you something here. This 6% represents an increase in the price level over the level that was there exactly 1 year back. Let's say this is the first week of October. Exactly 1 year back, whatever was the price level of a basket of commodities, and the government has a basket of commodities, rice, wheat, sugar, electricity, oil, all kinds of things go into that. This basket had cost 100 rupees. Last year it had cost 100 rupees. And if the inflation rate is 6% today, it means the basket would now cost 106 rupees. So there has been a 6% increase over the price exactly 1 year back. Got it? Which means that the value of your money has decreased by 6% in 1 year. So you buy 6% less now. That's what these numbers mean. Got it? Now in the end, I would like you to know something here. See, people are not incentivized to save when interest rates are low. Why? When interest rates are low, obviously there is not much for you to save. Your FD pays you pretty less, and your consumer, your loans interest rates are low, so you borrow more and spend more. You borrow and spend. home loans, consumer durable loans, car loans, bike loans, phone loans, all kinds of holiday loans. These days people borrow money to go on holidays. The problem with that entire thing is that people don't save much for the future. So we are going the American way. The American way is the model of dis-saving, the opposite of saving. They spend today with an eye on the future income. Tomorrow we will earn, we'll pay off the loan from that income. So we spend today, we pay from the future income. So there is hardly any saving there. In India, on an average, people save around 33% of their income. Okay, 30, 32, 33%. In China, it's about 36%. In America, it's about 2%, 2 to 4%. That's very low, isn't it? Yeah. So, this is something that I wanted to tell you about inflation and everything. But okay, let's look at why don't people save money? Let's say you have money and you want to go to a bank. You go to a bank and put it in the FD. Okay. A 1 year FD will give you, let's say, 5.5% interest. That is return. It's called return on your investment. ROI, return on investment, is the return you get, the earning you make on your investment over a period of time. Here in this case, 1 year. So this is ROI, return on investment, earning basically. Inflation is, let's say, 6%. Means in the bank, your money would increase by 5.5% in the next 1 year. Now inflation rate is 6%, which means outside it is decreasing by 6%, whereas in the bank it's increasing by 5.5%, which means you are losing money. You got it? You're losing money. See, this is called nominal rate of interest. Nominal. On paper, nominal means name. Nom means name. On paper, you are earning 5.5%, but inflation rate is, so from nominal, you deduct inflation rate. You get real rate of return. You get real rate of return. So are you earning money or losing money? You're losing money. Be careful. Be very careful when you save like this. Okay? I'm not saying FDs are bad. I'm just saying think before you invest. It's always good to think. Okay? Take the reverse. Inflation rate is 5.5% and FD is 6%. So you would make 0.5%. 0.5% increase in your wealth, in your investment. That's it. Okay. I know some of you would be like, what? How is this possible? But whenever you invest, you should take into account inflation, rate of inflation. That is the most important parameter of return. Okay. You should not look at it as absolute. Array 5.5%, 5.5% I'm earning. No. Look at the inflation rate. Okay. See, if you want me to discuss more on these kinds of things, you just give feedback. I'll tell you. And if you have any questions, bring them. Send feedback. My team, our guys would get those questions to me. Maybe I could discuss them in the days to come. Okay. So, next. MyGov India has MyGov is my government. MyGov India has recently launched Planetarium Innovation Challenge for Indian startups and entrepreneurs. MyGov India comes under the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. So what we will do now is to write about this entire plan, okay, this so-called challenge, and then we will look at the names of the ministers occupying these ministries, these department ministries. Let's say, why don't we look at Planetarium Innovation Challenge? Please write this. Planetarium Innovation Challenge. Okay, underline that first point. Bring together, or bring together, this single. Bring together technology firms and startups in brackets Indian only, Indian only, Indian only, to build an indigenous means native, homemade, Indian made, indigenous planetarium system software, planetarium system software using latest advanced technologies like augmented reality, this is called AR, augmented reality, virtual reality, and merged reality, full stop. And merged reality, full stop. Next point. Indian planetariums use outdated technology with no OEM in brackets, original equipment manufacturer, no space, so I'm writing original equipment manufacturer support. See, this was imported. The software that planetariums are using today was imported long back, and some of them have gone out of shape, have gone out of business, or even if they are there, they are not, they are not, what we say, they're not willing to, or they don't want to, or is it out of the contract to use OEM to give support, technical support if something goes wrong. So we are making do with whatever we have today. So the government of India has launched this particular what we say challenge, so that our guys come up with the best technologies that would give us the best experience while watching the space. Okay. So apart from this, of course, could we be looking at the ministries? Why don't we look at the ministries? So I'll give you the name of the guy, because some of these ministries are headed by those who already, who also hold other ministries, who also head other ministries. So why don't we look at something more here? Bhupinder Yadav. Oh, I like to put some star mark or some kind of a symbol that distinguishes this point from others. Bhupinder Yadav, one, right? Ministry of Electronics and IT. So I'm so sorry. Bhupinder Yadav, I'm going one by one, okay? Labor and Employment. So he's a Union Minister of Labor and Employment, and Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Climate change. Environment, forest and climate change. See, you can put a comma before and this comma if you're writing more than two items. Okay, this comma before and is called Oxford comma. There's a name for it. Yeah. Oxford, Oxford, Oxford or serial comma, because you're describing a series of things, you have a serial comma. Okay. I love pronunciation very much, so wherever possible I bring in that extra stuff, about pronunciation, the English language and all. Pronunciation, we shouldn't say pronunciation, pronunciation. Okay. Food processing industries, you could write the name of this guy. What is it? Pashupati. Yeah. Pashupati Kumar Paras. Pashupati Kumar Paras. Pashupati Kumar Paras. So the guy who heads this electronics and information technology ministry heads three other ministries. So we'll write his name here. Ashwini Vaishnav. There's a W in the end here. Vaishnav. He heads 3 ministries. You write this one: electronics and IT. Electronics and IT. Second one, the very important Ministry of Railways. The third one is Ministry of Communications. Ministry of Communications. Ministry of Communications. Okay. Next, fourth, Ministry of Power. Okay, let's write this guy's name, because this person also heads another ministry. His name is Raj Kumar Singh. Raj Kumar Singh heads one, Power Ministry. Second, New and Renewable Energy Ministry. New and renewable energy. Okay. Yeah. The last one, micro, small and medium enterprises. Okay. If I'm not wrong, it's headed by Sarbanand Sonowal. I'll correct myself if I am incorrect. Okay. In the next session, I'll correct myself, but I remember his name to be Sarbanand Sonowal. Micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs. Earlier it was headed by Nitin Gadkari. Now it's headed by Sarbanand Sonowal, who's become the first Formula One driver to win 100 races after his recent victory at the 2021 Russian Grand Prix. Grand, it's French word. Two separate words. Grand we say, but they say Grand, and Prix is prize, Grand prize. Okay. Lewis Hamilton, that's Lewis Hamilton, guys, and Lewis Hamilton is 7-time, you could write, UK, 7-time world champion, tied with the great Michael Schumacher. I have given space here, so Michael Schumacher of Germany. Michael Schumacher of Germany, tied with Michael Schumacher. Okay. Good, right? Dash. Continue there. Dash. I normally don't use grammar when we are writing facts like this. 100 wins. 100 wins and 176 podium finishes. Podium finishes. Podium is in the top 3, standing on the podium, 1, 2, 3 kind of thing. Okay. Yeah. Podium finishes. There's a lot we can learn from people like Hamilton. He's 36 years old. He's the fact that at that age he's at the top of his form. He's a defending world champion. Last 5 years he's won the championship. Last 4 years, 2017, 18, 19, 20, 4 consecutive years. And 16 he didn't win, but 14, 15 he did win. Okay, so between 14 and 20, only 1 year he did not win. That was 2016. But before, so there are 6 tournaments, 6 world championships here. The first time he had won was in 2008. Can you beat that? 2008. And between 2008 and 2014, there's a 6-year gap. And this is when he persevered. He didn't give up. He worked harder to ensure that he learned from his failures, and that's how he's currently the world champion. Learning from failure is a great thing, my friends. But if you will do this, people often learn from success, but few learn from failure. You know, people like him learn from failure, and that's why he's a world champion at what we say, 36. If you look at that fellow, the choices, why don't we look at these choices? Yeah. In fact, if you look at Kimi Raikkonen, he's 41 years old. Can you beat that? At 41, people are like, man, my knees are paining and all that. So this is where, physical strength and of course stamina count. But to keep themselves fit, they work extremely hard. See, they drive regularly. In a race, they drive at over 300 kmph. That's a regular thing. Normal thing to drive at over 300 kmph and multiple laps, about 55 laps, 52 to 55 laps. That's a lot of thing, isn't it? Yeah. So, guys, who's the fellow? Who are these guys? Verstappen. You just write the country's name followed with the team they race for. Okay. Formula 1 is fun. Oh, I follow this on a regular basis, daily basis. Netherlands. He comes from Netherlands. And he races for Red Bull Racing Team. Red Bull Racing. Okay. I was discussing this fellow, no? What's his name? Raikkonen. But before that, I think in order we will go to Sainz. Sainz Jr. Comes from Spain and he drives a Scuderia Ferrari, I think. Yeah, Scuderia Ferrari. Scuderia Ferrari. Raikkonen. He's from Finland, yeah. How could I? Bottas, Raikkonen, these are all from Finland, these guys. And he drives for Alfa Romeo Racing. Alfa Romeo is a sister brand of Ferrari. You know that? Alfa Romeo Racing. See, there is this company called Fiat. Fiat acquired Chrysler, which is an American company. Together, they got a new identity called Stellantis. So, there is a company called Stellantis, which owns brands like Ferrari, Alfa Romeo, Fiat, Chrysler, Dodge, Ram. Plenty of brands like this. So, Alfa Romeo Racing. Vettel, please write Vettel. Sebastian Vettel, Germany. He is from Germany and he drives an Aston Martin super luxury. Aston Martin. And the full name is Aston Martin Cognizant, but write Aston Martin Racing. If you watch James Bond films and the latest one is out, No Time to Die, well, that busy. So Aston Martin is what James Bond drives. Usually he drives an Aston Martin. At least since Daniel Craig has come in the last 3 movies, he's been driving an Aston Martin. And before that, in some movies it was a BMW Jet 3 Roadster. Some movies it was, something else. But Aston Martin was there in the old James Bond movies, and that's why they brought it back now. Yeah. And it's a typical British brand, Aston Martin, and James Bond is a British series. James Bond works for an intelligence agency called MI6, Military Intelligence 6. See, Britain has had 12 spy agencies named MI1 to MI12. MI, military intelligence, MI1 to MI12. They shut down 10. They kept MI5 and MI6 alive. MI6, military intelligence 6, is for foreign operations, spy on other countries like India's RAW, RAW, or America's CIA, or Pakistan's ISI. But they have one for domestic operations, MI5. It's for domestic spying, intelligence network and all that. Find out all these things. It's all masala. Find the correctly matched pairs. September 26th is the day for the International Day for the total elimination of nuclear weapons. Yes. World Pharmacist Day, September 25th. Yes. World Rivers Day, 4th Sunday of September. Yes. So all of them are right. How many nuclear weapons does the world have? I went to the UN website, which focuses on this particular day. And there I found the number to be 13,080 nuclear weapons. 13,080 nuclear weapons. So the world today has 13,080 nuclear weapons. Take out 13,000 nuclear weapons. And the majority of these are with Russia. They are with Russia. Okay? Followed by the US. And then China. Number 3, China. So, let's look at a bit more, my friends. And what is the theme for the World Pharmacist Day? World Pharmacist Day. Please write this. World Pharmacist Day theme. World Pharmacist Day theme. Pharmacist 2021 theme. Pharmacist. Always trusted for your health. Always trusted for your health. That is September 25th. Okay. September 25th. I think that's enough. Yeah. September 25th. The world's highest electric vehicle charging. The H in vehicle is silent. It's highest electric vehicle. How do you pronounce it? Vehicle. The world's highest electric vehicle charging station was recently inaugurated in the Kaja village of Lahore and Spiti district in Himachal Pradesh. Himachal Pradesh. You could write this. Set up by Go. See this. They write like this. This is the actual technical name. I mean, not the technical name. The company's name. Go. Okay. Network. One word. You could write this. Go Network. Go Electronic Go Network. A Pune-based electric vehicle charging infra startup. Infra is infrastructure. Electric vehicle charging infra setup. See, these days electric vehicles have caught a buzz. They are generating a big hum. The reason is that even the government of India has been promoting this since for some time since some time now. The Modi Sarkar had come out with an EV plan, an EV roadmap that by 2030 more than half of India's roads, more than half of Indian vehicles will be electric vehicles. So the infrastructure is missing. I mean, there is pretty few incentives anyway. More than incentives, the charging network. So you have a petrol or a diesel vehicle, you can go to a petrol pump or a diesel pump. You have the filling stations, petrol stations, but you don't have as many EV charging stations as you need. So if they catch up, then and things become cheaper, Hopefully, more and more people will take to electric vehicles. Okay, so we have choices here. Why don't we look at names of the capitals of these places? Some weird stuff. Like for example, Himachal Pradesh has two capitals. One is Shimla. What is it? Shimla, which is a summer capital. Shimla is the summer capital, and the other one is Dharmshala, which is a winter capital. Winter capital. Similarly, you have two capitals for Uttarakhand also. What is it? Uttarakhand. What are the capitals? Let me clear this first. What are the capitals? You would have Dehradun, which is summer capital, usually the summer capital. Okay, and no, what is it? Dehradun is the winter capital, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, Dehradun is a winter capital. I don't know why they named it that way. And Gairsen, the other one, is a summer capital. I think this is the right. No, sorry, I'm so sorry. Summer capital. I'm still a little stuck here because I believe that it's the other way around. But somewhere it's also that I have read this one, this classification. Gairsen is a summer capital and Dehradun is a winter capital. Okay, guys. In that way, Jammu and Kashmir also has two capitals, Jammu and Srinagar, but the government of J&K has categorically said that no longer will the administration move between two places. If you are stationed in Jammu, you will remain in Jammu. If you are stationed in Srinagar, you will be stationed in Srinagar. You don't have to move between two places. And they say that would save the government about 280 crore rupees. 280 crore rupees. Ladakh is India's biggest union territory, India's biggest UT, both by area and least densely populated UT. Least densely populated UT. In fact, overall actually. Its lieutenant governor. Lieutenant is something you could use, if not lieutenant. Lieutenant is a French pronunciation. Lieutenant governor is Radha Krishna Mathur. Radha Krishna Mathur. Okay? Chali. The International Astronomical Union has recently named a crater at the moon's south pole after the Arctic explorer Matthew Hansen. This is the moon, of course, as you can see. Matthew Hansen is said to be the first person to have traveled to the magnetic North Pole. Sorry, geographical North Pole. Geographical North Pole. He was a black American or free American. He was a free black American. Hansen, a free black American, accompanied Peary about 23 times. 23 times. And it is believed that Peary felt sick and he could not continue further. So he was on a dog sled and he sent a forward team of 5 members led by Hansen. And it is believed that Hansen is the guy who became the first to go to reach the geographical North Pole, not Peary, as most of our books say. Because Peary, and some people attribute a racist motive to that. Peary was a white American, was a white person, while Hansen was a black, and there are problems with that also. Yeah. So Hansen is said to be the first person to have reached the geographical North Pole in 1911, if I'm not wrong. No, 1909. Yeah, 2 years before someone went to this Antarctic. 1909. So this guy here, Roald Amundsen, he reached the South Pole sometime in 1919, or he reached the Antarctica in 1919. 1919. Roald Amundsen. Okay. I want you to be a little familiar with the moon. I have always liked the photos of the moon. But you know what? This photo that we see, okay, this is the only side of the moon we always see. This side is called the near side. What is it called? Near side. The side that we don't get to see from the earth is called the far side. See, this is the moon, okay? This is how the earth and the moon go, like the same direction, okay? Because they go in the same direction, we always end up seeing the same side of the moon, okay? This is the near side. जो हम देखते हैं वो near side है, जो the other side is of course the far side. Now, how far is the moon? Well, the moon is about 3.84 lakh kilometer away. 3.84 lakh. Okay, let me put it this way. Kilometer away. Okay. See, how much time does moonlight take to reach the earth? This is one of my favorite questions. Whenever I find little fellows, I ask them, okay, how much time does sunlight take to reach the earth? They say 8 minutes. And they're quite excited about it. I'm sure you'd be excited if I asked you this question. 8 minutes, you say, because the distance between the earth and the sun being about 14.83 crore kilometers, or take 15 crore kilometers, divided that by the speed of light, you would get about 8 minutes. Okay, so the sunlight that we see now left the sun 8 minutes back. It's already 8 minutes old. It's already 8 minutes old. So you may ask me now, or you may question, how is Bharat? My name is Bharat CJ. You may ask, hey, how is it this guy is asking about moonlight? Moon doesn't emit light. It's not a luminescent body. Well, it does reflect sunlight. The moonlight that we see is reflected sunlight. Okay. So how much time does moonlight take to reach the earth? What's the distance? 3.84 lakh kilometers. What's the speed of light? About 3 lakh kilometers per second. Divide that, you get 1.3 seconds, about 1.3 seconds. So moonlight takes 1.3 seconds to reach the earth. Okay? 1, 2. You see this here, these dark spots here. These are called, these are called seas, samudra. They're called seas. The Greeks believed these are all water. In ancient Greek, and most of these books are written by Westerners, so obviously, we have most of the stuff coming from the Greeks and all these guys. They believed these are all water and they were lowland, so they called them Maria. Maria is Mary, Mary is water. Water is sea. Okay? So they said that these are all seas. They're all samudra. So they named them after different seas and all that. And these are highlands. And you see these spots here, these are all craters. They're all craters. You see, there's a massive crater here and there. Yeah? So, man first landed on the moon in July 1969 at the Sea of Tranquility. So, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, two guys, they landed on the moon in a place called the Sea of Tranquility. Tranquility means Shanti. Shanti Sagar. So we went there with the message of peace. That's the idea. I don't know if there was someone to welcome them, at least chupa chupi, yeah. But then that would have been scary, isn't it? Yes. So guys, that's a little about this, and fascinating, isn't it? Yeah. It's the only natural satellite of the earth. How old is the moon? No one knows. There are different theories, of course. It's said that the moon knows everything. It does. GDMI, homemade rice wine of the Dimasa tribe, has recently bagged a geographical indication tag. The Dimasa tribe is native to Assam. Oh, I was reading about the Dimas, the Wikipedia page on Dimas, and I was quite fascinated with these guys. And there are 42 clans, matriarchal, 42 female clans, 42 male clans, CLA, and clans is extended family. 42 here, 42 there, okay? And they always marry between these clans and all that. I was reading the meanings of the names of each of those clans, and wonderful world we live in. So much to learn, isn't it? So Judima is a wine, made from rice, and it is probably the only wine for which a certain kind of rice is grown, only for making the wine. Okay, and it is had at festive occasions. If there is a death in the family, some kind of mourning, yeah, people drink it. People drink it just for fun in the evening. I was reading all these things. So when we read, we get to know different things about different kinds of people. There is a certain degree of openness to, we should have a certain degree of openness to learning. Oh, that wonder should be there. Wow, kind of thing. Yes, please be like that. Learning is a key to success in life. Okay, and it's a key to happiness, of course. So do you know what exactly is GI, geographical indication? Please write this, geographical indication. Right. Given to products associated with specific geographical origin. Second point, it conveys authenticity means originality, and assurance of quality. That's it. Next point. Once a product gets a GI tag, geographical indication tag, no person or organization can produce similar product under that name, full stop. A GI is given, next point, a GI is given for 10 years, after which it can be renewed. Full stop. Last point, it is governed by the World Trade Organization. Okay. Next, last point. Examples. Apart from the Judima rice wine. Examples: Darjeeling tea. Next, Nagpur orange. One last example. Goa Feni. Feni is a kind of fermented drink. It's like, you could say wine, you could call it any kind of thing, beer or whatever. It's a basic alcoholic kind of thing. Okay, it's made from cashews. Made from cashews. Next. Which of the following has become India's first platform to accept international remittances directly into the digital wallet? Paytm. We'll just write. So your cousin from America sent some money to you into your, he can send directly, into your Paytm wallet. That's what it means. Vijay Shekhar Sharma. Vijay Shekhar Sharma is a CEO, chairman. Vijay Shekhar Sharma. He founded Paytm. Google Pay is owned by, of course, Google. Yeah. Phone Pay is owned by Walmart and Flipkart. Walmart owns Flipkart. Flipkart owns Phone Pay. Simple. Amazon, of course, Amazon. Okay, only one company you should know. Shivshankar Kumar. Shivshankar Kumar and Harshil Mathur. Harshil Mathur. Harshil Mathur. I think this is it. Sojat Mehendi from Dash recently received the geographical indication Rajasthan. Shall we do something? I think there's hardly anything else to discuss because we already written notes on GI. There is one more question on GI. I'm surprised by the number of questions because recently they gave tags, 3 tags, the GI tags. One is Sojat Mehendi, the other was so that Judima wine, and third one will come in a while. So Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar. Rajasthan Ashok Gehlot, Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot. Madhya Pradesh Shivraj Singh Chauhan. Haryana Manohar Lal Khattar. Manohar Lal Khattar. And West Bengal Mamta Banerjee. Chaliye. Whom of the following persons has authored the book titled The Fractured Himalaya? How the Past Shadows the Present in India-China Relations. Nirupama Rao, ex-Foreign Secretary of India. Okay. Why don't we write the names of books of some of these guys? Shivshankar Menon, you could write. Shivshankar Menon, one book. Choices. Inside the making of India's foreign policy. Inside the making of India's foreign policy. He was India's foreign secretary for a long time. And he was also India's national security advisor. Okay, he was a national security advisor between 2010 and 2014, and before that, as foreign secretary, he had a tenure between 2006 and 2009. You don't require those years and all. Syed Akbaruddin, well, he recently came out with this book. You write, like this. India versus UK. India versus UK, the story of an unprecedented diplomatic win. The story of an unprecedented diplomatic win. Subramaniam Jaishankar. You could write one book. He is the current foreign minister of India. So, right. The India Way. The India Way strategies for an uncertain world. For an uncertain world. Yeah. I have this book. Yeah. I didn't want to because I know this entire case completely. Well, the finance minister has recently constituted a 7-member group of ministers led by Karnataka Chief Minister Dash to propose a rationalization of tax rates and to consider the merger of different tax slabs within 2 months. Current Chief Minister is Basavaraj Bommai. This is hardly anything to discuss. Let's go with it. Name the cyclone that recently made a landfall in the state of Andhra Pradesh. Gulab. And see, these cyclones are given names by 8 different countries. They take turns to name them. Gulab was given, if I'm not wrong, Pakistan. Gulab was a name given by Pakistan. Okay. So Gulab, Pakistan. And the next one will be called, if again I'm not wrong, Shaheen. Next Tufan will be called Shaheen, and the name comes from Qatar. Name comes from Qatar. Yeah. All these Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal, countries. The Union government has recently constituted a task force under the Economic Affairs Secretary to firm up, what's his name? Ajay Seth, to firm up a sustainable finance roadmap for India. Ajay Seth is the answer, okay. And Ajay Kumar. Ajay Kumar is see, these guys the names keep changing because these are all IAS officers, and depending on the tenure they have, they would be around. But as of now, he is the Defense Secretary of India. Ajay Kumar, Defense Secretary. Tarun Bajaj, Revenue Secretary. Rajesh Agarwal, you don't need to know. He is a secretary in the Ministry of Skill and Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. You don't need this. And Ajay Bhalla is a Home Secretary. Fair, I guess. Okay, you want to know what is the term, what kind of sustainable finance roadmap? You could write this. Since you would have anyway written this point, you write, aim is to recommend, or task force will recommend measures on dealing with risks from climate change and ESG, in brackets you write now environmental, social and governance issues. So sustainable finance is a difficult thing because see, and these are linked with SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, 17 of them. We would require 2.6 lakh crore rupees. Do we have the money? No. So this particular task force will recommend certain measures that we can deal with. How do we deal with this? How do we generate money? How do we deal with what are the things that can be taken care of? Yeah. The book titled My Life in Full, Work, Family and Our Future is related to Indira Nui. I just placed an order for this book after I read this question. Yes. I love reading, and I always tell all my friends here, please read so that you get better insight into the world. It's good to learn things. It's always good. I'm sure that you would want to learn, you would want to prosper, you want to have a great career, and I'm sure you will do this for all your loved ones, including your kids tomorrow. Yeah. The book titled My Life in Full, Work, Family and Our Future is related to Indira Nui. Who is Indira Nui? She's this Chennai-born IIM Calcutta graduate who later went to Yale University and later joined multiple companies and finished her career as the chairperson and chief executive officer of PepsiCo. Ex-CEO PepsiCo. Ex-CEO PepsiCo. Yeah. People work extremely hard, and she's one good example. Satya Nadella, CEO Microsoft. I have one of his books, his only book, of course. It's called Hit Refresh. In this book, he talks of the empathy, why empathy is important for business, and he brings in his family. He talks about his kids, especially his son Zain, Z-A-I, who's born with cerebral palsy, who's wheelchair bound, and how technology can help us build a better world is what he discusses in this book. And he also talks about how Microsoft has a special role to play in this entire aim he has to build technology to generate to reflect empathy for fellow beings. So Sundar Pichai, ladies and gentlemen, he is the CEO of Google and Alphabet, Google's parent company Alphabet. Shantanu Narayan, Adobe, CEO, chairperson Adobe. इसको Adobe कहते हैं, Adobe नहीं कहते हैं. It's not Adobe, it's Adobe. Adobe is the name of a river after which it is named. Okay. Adobe Systems. He is considered one of the 25 best CEOs in the world. And among these 25 CEOs, you find Shantanu Narayan, you find Satya Nadella, you would find Sundar Pichai, and you would find one more Indian called Ajay Banga. He is ranked number 1. Ajay Banga is the CEO of MasterCard. Arvind Krishna, CEO, IBM, International Business Machines. Which nation has successfully flight tested the Raytheon hypersonic missile, of course, an air-breathing hypersonic weapon capable of speeds faster than 5 times the speed of sound? The United States. Okay, what is a hypersonic weapon? You write this. Hypersonic weapon. Hypersonic weapon dash travels in upper atmosphere. I had told you in the past that SP is pronounced with an SF. When you pronounce it sphere, not spear. What is it? Sphere, atmosphere. Okay. Travels in upper atmosphere at speeds of more than Mach 5. Mach 5. In brackets, 5 times the speed of sound. 1 Mach is the speed of sound. So speed of sound equals Mach, 1 Mach. Okay, Mach 5 times the speed of sound at 6,200 kilometers per hour. 6,200 kilometers per hour. So US has tested this company Raytheon's hypersonic weapon. Raytheon Technologies has made this, Raytheon Technologies, you could write this. Head office in a town called Waltham in Massachusetts. Massachusetts is an American state on the east coast, just above New York. Waltham, Massachusetts, and its CEO is Gregory Hayes. Gregory Hayes. Okay. And before America tested, Russia tested something similar, and they called their hypersonic weapon Zircon, also called Zircon. You can call it Zircon hypersonic missile. Zircon hypersonic missile. Okay, yeah. So, with which nation has India recently inked an agreement to facilitate the exchange of white shipping information and to boost maritime security cooperation? Oman. Oman is the answer. So what is white shipping? See, this is Oman. Okay. So the capital is not mentioned. Muscat is here, if I'm not wrong. This is where Muscat is. But anyway, right. What is that? White shipping. White shipping. Underline that. White shipping refers to. White shipping information refers to. White shipping information refers to exchange of relevant advanced information exchange of relevant advanced information on the identity and movement of commercial non-military merchant vessels, non-military merchant vessels. Full stop. This helps in preventing attacks from sea-based vessels like 26/11 Mumbai attacks. Okay. Yeah. Just to give you the capitals. Okay, in the case of Oman, I'll give all the information. Oman's capital is Muscat. President, the king, here is Sultan. His name is Haytham bin Tariq Al Sayyid. This is how he writes. Al Sayyid. You can write with an I also. Haytham bin Tariq Al Sayyid. Bin means son of. Haytham, son of Tariq Al Sayyid. So Al Sayyid is the name of the family. Okay. The currency is Omani Riyal. Chali. And the rest I'll just mention the capitals. Baghdad, Saudi Arabia, Riyadh. Jordan, Amman. Somalia, Mogadishu. Mogadishu. Yeah. Why should it be called Arabian Sea? Shouldn't it be called the Indian Ocean? It's an extension sea, nah? Isn't it? Yeah. Which Indian Ocean nation wants the International Court of Justice to weigh in on the rights of current and future residents to be protected from climate change? Vanuatu. This is Vanuatu. You see, tiny Vanuatu. Just write this. See, climate change is a major issue. As the polar caps, as global temperatures rise, average temperatures rise, things will get warm. As things get warm, as temperature becomes higher, gets higher, the ice caps would melt. Ice caps, especially at the north, in the North Pole, in Greenland, and Antarctica, they would melt. And the melting ice would unlock water. As the water merges with the oceans around, sea levels will rise. As sea levels rise, low-lying islands and islands all over the world would get submerged. Maldives is a good example. It will most likely be the first to get submerged because it's the lowest altitude country in the world. It's the lowest country in the world. In terms of its height, average altitude is 1.5 meters above sea level. So countries like all these Pacific islands may get submerged. So it's petitioning the ICJ. So you want to write the capitals of these places, you don't require anything more than that, because no question, no exam will ever ask you who is the Prime Minister of Vanuatu, whose name is Robert Lofman. Well, I know, but it doesn't make any sense to you, trust me. Just write capital. Now Vanuatu, capital Port Vila. Port Vila. It's a 10,000 square kilometer country. 12,000 square kilometers. This area is 12,000 square kilometers. The population is about 3 lakh. Yeah, but it's in pretty bad shape. Okay. Nauru. There is Nauru here. You see this here? This small dot here. This one. Yeah. You could write Nauru. Third smallest country in the world. Third smallest country in the world. Third smallest country in the world. And smallest republic. And smallest republic. Third smallest country in the world and smallest republic. Dash. Area just 21 square kilometers. 21 square kilometers. 21 square kilometers. 21 square kilometers. The third we said, because Vatican is number 1, 0.4 square kilometers. Number 2, Monaco, about 2.1 square kilometers. 2.1 square kilometers. This is 21 square kilometers. Monaco is a kingdom. Okay, so Vatican is where you don't have an appointed head of. You have you don't have an elected head. So Nauru is an elected head, and that's what a republic is. The head of the state has to be an elected representative, and that's what Nauru has. Okay, so it doesn't have a capital. It's one of only 2 countries, major countries in the world. The other is Switzerland, which doesn't have capital. Its capital is the de facto capital. Okay, it's called Yaran. The capital is Yaran. Fiji's capital is Suva. Okay, Somao. You can see Somao in the map. Apia. This is Somao. Okay. Papua New Guinea. This is Papua New Guinea. Okay, and the capital is Port Moresby. Port Moresby. It is believed that in this country, language changes every 8 kilometers. 8 kilometers, language changes every 8 kilometers. Which state's sweet cucumber got a GI recently? Well, Nagaland. I think we'll just skip this now. Okay, too much of GI. So, Nagaland's chief minister is Neufeu Rio. Manipur, Biren Singh, Mizoram, what's his name? Zoram Thanga. Meghalaya, Kondad Sangma. Assam, Himanta Biswa Sharma. Which India's first cryptogamic garden with around 50 different species grown has been inaugurated in Deoban area of Uttarakhand. So you could write this. What is cryptogamic? Cryptogamic. Write this, please. Cryptogamic. Cryptogram means. You're right. Cryptogram means hidden reproduction. Hidden, HIDDEN. Hidden reproduction. Second point. Plant does not produce any seed or flowers. Seed or flowers. Next, they reproduces from spores. Examples: moss, fungi, algae. Good examples. 3 are enough. Okay, do you want to the district also? Deoban area of Dehradun district, if you want that specific information. Okay. India and Dash has signed a USD 1.3 billion mega deal to develop the Lower Arun hydro project, Nepal. It's a river built on river Arun. Nepal's Prime Minister is Sher Bahadur Dioba. Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Dioba. Only in the case of Bhutan will I give some information now. Bhutan, Myanmar, Afghanistan we could discuss later. Bhutan, sharing lote. Okay. I think because 2 classes back and last class also we discussed Myanmar, so we'll skip it. The Indian Navy received the 10th anti-submarine warfare aircraft P-8I from the aerospace company Boeing, based in the United States. You could write this: Boeing, headquartered in not Seattle, I'm so sorry, Chicago, one of America's biggest cities, Chicago, and its CEO is a guy called Dave Calhoun. Dave Calhoun. It's one of the world's biggest aerospace and aerospace defense and aircraft equipment maker. Okay. Nothing much to discuss. Yeah, Israel has a new prime minister, Bennett Naftali. India's first grain ATM has been set up in Gurugram. What is it called? It's called Annapurti. The grain ATM is called Annapurti. It has a biometric sensor. Punch in, enter your Aadhaar number or whatever link basically. There you can take your grains. You would get grains, ATM grains. So it's a part of the World Food Program and Government of India initiative, and it can dispense about 70 kilos of grain in about 7 minutes. Yeah, touch screen, biometric, going places, man. Gurugram, Haryana. Okay. Airports, I just want to tell you something. Nagpur has Baba Sahib Dr. B.R. Ambedkar International Airport. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar International Airport in Nagpur. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Airport. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Airport. Sorry, there should not be a dot here. Patna means Jayaprakash Narayan Airport. Jayaprakash Narayan Airport. Jayaprakash is one word. Jayaprakash Narayan Airport, International Airport. Indore, Devi Ahilya Bai Airport. It is one of only 2 airports in India to be named after women. Only 2 airports in India have been named after women. One is Indore Airport, the other is the airport in Delhi, Indira Gandhi International Airport. Ladakh has signed an MOU with Sikkim to turn the Union Territory organic by 2025. Well, now this Ladakh we mentioned a while ago, so not much to discuss here. Chandigarh is India's second smallest Union Territory. What to discuss here? There's nothing much to discuss. In fact, we have been discussing all of these things. Sikkim we discussed in the last class also, but Prem Singh Tamang, CM Prem Singh Tamang. Okay. Biplab Dev. That's it. Ladakh has one district called Leh. Leh is India's second biggest district. Okay. A scheduled bank is one in which is included in the second schedule of RBI Act. I think it's already mentioned. I think we were quite clear about this. We'll do one thing. Maybe we'll bring in a little about banks in the next class, shall we? Types of banks and all that, maybe. If I'll bring this question and we could discuss this in the next session or the session after, sometime next week. No harm. Dong is a currency of Vietnam. This is Vietnam. You see, this is Vietnam. Okay. Myanmar currency, Kyat. Only currencies place Philippines, Peso. We are running late today. Peso. South Korea, Won. Cambodia, this is Cambodia. You see this Cambodia here? Cambodia, Riel. Okay. And thank you. Thanks for being here. Have a lot of fun. Stay curious. Stay safe. Thank you.